So you think shooting an interview is easy, right? Someone is sat there, you just point and shoot, right?
Wrong! Interviews take a lot of prep, pre-planning, knowledge of lighting, sound, location, and all the mistakes you're going to make when you're running and gunning are a lot harder to hide in post.
Never fear, because today we are going to give you the perfect formula for filming cinematic, amazing interviews easily. This video will help you avoid common mistakes and help you film the kind of video that will have your clients coming back again and again. Welcome back to another episode of Tips and Tricks. I'm not holding this correctly, I know I'm left-handed, so I don't know what I'm doing. I am Maiyah, and I'm the content creator here at Viddyoze.
And I'm Dan, lead cinematographer and creative director here at Viddyoze. And today we're going to go over how to shoot an interview, covering everything from lights, cameras, sound, questions, and everything else in between. Yeah.
Let's go.
Before you do anything, you need to pick a location. Oh, hey Maiyah. Before you do anything, you need to pick a location. It's better to pick somewhere that you like the look of rather than pick anywhere and just polish your shit, basically. If you've got somewhere you like the look of, you can make it look even better when you're there, if that makes sense. Does it make sense? It makes sense. When I'm looking for a location, I often do like a recce. Rather than bringing all my gear around with me, I'll probably bring like my iPhone or Samsung. I've got a Samsung. I don't know why I said iPhone, because I'm going to upgrade soon. But I'd use my phone to just have a little look, take some pictures, make sure it's gonna fit the bill. Yeah, good little video tip for you there. Personally, I think the backdrop is more important in an interview than any other kind of filming situation. It's more than likely gonna be the only thing in shot and it doesn't change. Yeah, you'll be out of B-roll, but you wanna make sure that whatever's behind them or whatever location they're in is up to scratch. You don't have to change it and it looks pretty, because otherwise it's gonna be a bit boring and horrible to look at. A bit like Maiyah. So this is kind of the area that I'm going to be filming. Now, despite what a lot of people say not to shoot with the window behind you, we got a lot of dynamic range on our cameras, and I actually think it looks quite nice, and the light wraps around fairly nicely, as you can see. So one of the big reasons is because there's a nice big light source here. It's more pleasing. There's a lot of white around here, so the light's going to be naturally bouncing off and giving a bit of fill on the face. From the angle I'm going to be shooting, you get lots of shrubbery in, and there's also, as you can see, I can get quite far back and add a lot of depth. So what I might try and do is stick the 135 on and shoot quite far back, but that, as a telescopic lens, will add a lot of depth and also be a lot more flattering on Maya's face. Not that she needs it. Look at that face. So yeah, this is the area I'm filming, and let's jump into what it looks like on the camera. Okay, now that we've got our location and we're set up and ready, we need to get someone in. Maiyah, for example, the only person here. I don't know why I say example, she's obviously going to be here. But she's going to stand in so we can make sure we're level and everything looks nice and pretty.
Hello, and welcome to BBC News. In today's news, Maiyah has hay fever and it's f***ing shit. So you could have the subject directly in the center of the frame and looking directly at the camera, but this only really works for someone who's really confident speaking directly to the camera, which most people aren't, unless you are me. No, unless it's your job or you're a newsreader or whatever the f you are. Most people aren't going to feel very comfortable talking to that little circle that's looking at them. So it's always best to kind of have them talking to a person. So say you're in the frame and you have them talking over here and they're in the center. It looks a bit odd if they're kind of like in the center. So you don't want the person kind of like here, you want them right next to the camera, but just slightly kind of off to the side. We did kind of cover this in our rule of thirds video, so we'll leave that link down below, but I'm just gonna quickly go over it anyway, because we're all here anyway. If you had them to sort of this side and the camera is there, and then they're looking there, you've got all this space. So you really want to consider the rule of thirds when you're filming them, and you really want to have them off to one side, then looking this way, not too far there, looking at the camera but off, and then the person there, just kind of off from the camera. That makes sense. You want the interviewee to be sat as close to the camera as possible, but also in the natural eye line. So like right now, Dan is taller, so I'm looking up. Whereas if Dan was in my natural eye line off to the side, then it just looks really natural and the camera's there. Whereas if the camera was really high, it would just look a bit weird. Or if it was really low down, it's just not really like, I just look really tall and dim, like on You know what I mean.
Okay, so if you can, consider having 2 cameras. This is great because you can get a nice wide shot, like so, and then you can use the other camera for the close-up type stuff. Now, I shouldn't really say this, but I'm not a big fan of having 2 camera setups, purely because I like to make all my shots consistent, but if I can get someone delivering their line once, the likelihood that they can deliver it slightly different twice is better, I think, because you've got more content to switch between. And they might say something that they didn't say before. I'm going off on one here. 2 cameras are great to capture more. Me personally, I shoot once, 1 camera, and I shoot it twice. That's just me. So you're more than likely going to see this set up in a lot of Netflix documentaries or even some kind of news interviews. Often they use a slider to add a bit of motion, but that's more than likely where you're gonna see it. Is that right, Maiyah?
Yeah.
That's right. Tom, for your benefit, or Adam, whoever takes on this task, we are also recording on the red.
Cheers, Jeff.
So we have Maiyah in the position I want. You're also stealing my focus. There we go. Okay, I'll start again. Now I'm gonna make this short and simple, but kind of going into as much depth as I can. I've got some stuff kind of set up. So I've got my softbox up here. It's not on at the moment. As you can see, Maiyah is quite nicely lit as it is, because that's where I put her on purpose. The light is kind of backlighting her, the window's backlighting her really well. Now my style is either really dark or really out there creamy light. On here, you can tell already that it looks overexposed. To a degree, the background's blown out, but I can pull that back in post if I want, because I'm on a red, shooting R3D. Whoop. I like it like this. I like one or the other. There's no middle ground for me. It's giving her a nice halo on her back. She just needs the front lit up a little bit more. So I've got this light already set up. It's on 20%. You can see already, not too harsh, not too blown out, but it's getting rid of some of the shadows, harsh shadows, making the skin nice and soft. It's minor, it's adding just a little bit. I've kept it at daylight temperature as well, 5.6, 5.5. I've got it at like a 45-degree angle. Normally you'd have it pointed down, but I've just got it catching a little bit of her face. Also with stop stealing my focus. With soft boxes and lights in general, the closer you are and the bigger the light source, the softer the light. So next up, I've got this nice shiny reflector. You could use white, it'd work just as well, but this gives it a little bit of texture, I think. You can see here without and with, it's very subtle, but it's kind of just giving a little bit of light upwards to fill in the eye shadows and underneath the chin. So it makes sure everything doesn't blend in and it looks nice. And the last thing I've got, just this, I'm using it as like a silk or a block, just to block out a little bit of light, because this room, lots of light sources, and if you can control the light, then do it, because otherwise it's going to change. So you can see, just bringing that in helps me control the shadows on the left-hand side, my left, her right. Now it's subtle changes, but because we've got it all naturally lit already, it was already quite nice. These are just adding that little bit to it. Like I said, I could bring the exposure down more, but then I lose the depth of field. I have to relight, I have to up the intensity of this light to compensate for my f-stop. So as you can see, I've had to bring this all the way up from 20% to near enough, get 100%. And it just looks flat, in my opinion. That's kind of me covering lights. Maiyah?
Next, we need to sort out the audio. In an interview, it is literally the most important thing. The whole video is about what they are saying, so it is really, really important. You can use a shotgun mic or a lapel mic. We choose to use lapel mics, just personal preference. Shotgun mics are great because they can be quite natural sounding, because you can have it positioned higher and it's pointing at their face. But we just use, why do we use lapel mics?
It's more consistent.
More consistent sound. Yeah, and you can walk around. That's the thing, if you are like a vlogger, you're doing more vloggy videos like we have today, walking around with a shotgun mic, you lose audio in different sections when you move the camera. Like when Dan's showing you stuff, if he was to move the camera and point it at the camera, you then suddenly can't hear him. So using a lapel mic is great in those situations. When you are setting up your levels on your Zoom or whatever audio equipment you are using to record the audio, I'm using the Zoom, what number is this?
H4.
H4, apparently, yeah. H4 Pro.
Take my word for it.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. When you're setting it up, one tip though is to get the person to say what they're saying naturally. So ask them a question. Say, how are you today? How's your day? What have you been doing? Because then they'll answer you like, oh yeah, fine, you know, I couldn't really park. Whereas if you say something, they'll be like, hello, testing, testing, and it'll be really loud and it won't be natural. And then when you go to record, your audio will be off. So, Viddyoze tip. Okay, we are all set up, but before we start shooting, we have to think about the actual interview. This is what you have to do before you even set foot in the studio, so don't skip it and get a pen and pad out.
It's all well and good making things look good, especially having some nice lighting, but no amount of good lighting techniques and location can hide the fact that your interviewee is awkward. Not just awkward, but uncomfortable, and what they're saying is unnatural or incoherent. But how can you fix this? Are you stood up fully?
Yes, I am small.
Just say your line.
Well, along with what we said earlier about where you position the person and having them look to the side so it can be a bit more conversational, you also want to do these 4 things. Number 1, prepare your questions and know them. Don't look down in the middle of the interview. Don't be looking at your thing, answering the questions and trying to work out what you have to say. You want it to be as conversational as possible and as natural as possible. Every time you look down, the person might look down at what you're looking at. They might kind of trail off. Everything they're saying might become less coherent because they're kind of like, they don't think you're paying attention to them, so they'll just stop speaking and you might miss out on some really, really good content.
Number 2, try and get everything set up before the person arrives. Pre-planning is always good, but you want to avoid making these people feel uncomfortable and setting up around them. Luckily, Maya's used to it. But yeah, get everything done, sorted. They can just walk in, minimal changes. They don't freak out. Jobs are good then.
Number 3 is no hmms or yes. It's really natural when someone is talking to go, yeah. Don't do it. The mic will pick it up, you'll hear it, it'll sound really bad. Just practice being a good listener. Nod along so they know that you're listening to them, but just be a good listener and you will open up more conversation because they'll have those silent cues where you're not going, yeah, and they might say things that are really natural, really good, and again, great content.
Number 4, Now, we're not practicing this currently, but ideally film somewhere that is familiar to the interviewee, somewhere that they might feel more comfortable, and also somewhere that's relevant to the story in a whole.
Even this whole. But yeah, so like in all those Netflix documentaries, you always see they're filming in their house and it's just natural for them and they feel more comfortable. But if it's like a murder crime thing, it might be a bit weird. So just think about like where you're filming.
Yeah, a tattooist. They're not going to be in a meat locker. They're going to be in a tattoo studio. A footballer, probably on a football stadium. You get the idea.
You get it.
Next.
I'm sure. Right, let's practice some questions. I'm gonna interview Dan. So we're gonna get the audio levels tested. We're just pretending, practicing. So I'm gonna get him to say something. Rather than just saying say something, I'm gonna say, hey Dan, how's your day going?
To be fair, it could be better.
Oh, okay, really, why?
Well, it's 6 o'clock and I'm hungry, so
yeah.
I could do some food.
So the topic of the video is going to be Dan's career change.
My move.
So Dan, I hear you are leaving the Viddyoze team. Do you want to explain why this is happening and tell us a little bit more about your plans?
It's hay fever. Yeah, so I've decided to move on. Me and my partner are moving to Bali and then on to Bangkok because we both like to do that. Yeah.
You see how that natural silence meant we got that little laugh scene, which I can use when editing to be funny or to make something really bad. Like I could get a section where he says something bad and put the laughing in and no one will know. I've edited it in there and then I can ruin his life. No, I'm joking.
It's already ruined.
So Bangkok, why Bangkok?
Friends, family, we fell in love with the place. We got engaged there a few years ago and like I said, we just like it.
When is this massive change happening?
It's quite soon actually. We're planning to go in August with the whole situation, We've just decided to, you know, go, get it done. You only live once. It's upsetting because I love the company, but you know, onwards and upwards.
Another good tip also is to keep in mind, are you going to include the interviewee's questions? Probably not. Try and get the interviewee to answer the question. So if I said, why Bangkok? Then I could get him to answer, I'm moving to Bangkok because blah, blah, blah. And you want to make sure you get something to sign off, some kind of ending thing. I could just say to you, so it's been really great chatting to you, Dan. Thank you. Do you have any final words that you want us to include?
No, I'm just eternally grateful that you know, you've given me this opportunity to speak and tell you about my plans. So, but thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And there you have the perfect formula to film a cinematic and brilliant interview. Make sure you are subscribed to our channel so you don't miss out on any videos. Give this video a thumbs up because it will help us be seen by more people so we can help more people. And leave us a comment down below about how much you're gonna miss Dan, how happy you are that it's only gonna be me in the videos, or whatever else you wanna say. Just, you know, leave us a comment.
And if you want to, why not check out Viddyoze? So Viddyoze is an online animation company. You just upload your image, your logo, your text, change some colors, sound, and in just a few clicks, you can spit out a nice, beautiful animation. So yeah, check us out. Peace.